Waiters, have you ever had to call the cops on your table? I was working at this family restaurant when this dad brought his 2 kids in for dinner. At first, everything seemed normal. The kids ordered chicken nuggets. Dad got a burger. Typical. Tuesday night stuff. But then, I started noticing weird things. The dad would cut the kids' food into tiny pieces, even though they looked like they were maybe 8 and 10 years old. He'd test every bite with his finger before letting them eat it. When the 8-year-old asked for ketchup, the dad said no because it had too much sugar. The kid just nodded and went back to eating plain nuggets. I thought he was just a health-conscious parent. My manager, Janet, was always telling us about customers with special diets. But then, the 10-year-old asked if she could go to the bathroom. The dad said she had to wait until they got home. She looked uncomfortable, but didn't argue. 20 minutes. Later, she asked again. This time the dad got angry and whispered something that made her eyes fill with tears. She sat perfectly still after that, like she was afraid to move. I started paying more attention to their table. The dad controlled everything. He told them when to drink water, how to sit, even how to hold their forks. When the younger kid accidentally dropped a nugget, the dad made him pick it up and eat it anyway. The kid looked embarrassed, but did it without complaining. I'd been waiting tables for 3 years and had seen strict parents before, but this felt different. These kids weren't just well-behaved, they were scared. They kept glancing at their dad before doing anything, even scratching their nose or shifting in their chair. The dad never smiled or talked to them like they were his children. He gave orders like they were soldiers. Sit up straight. Chew slower. Don't touch your face. The kids followed every command instantly. No normal kid is that obedient. When I brought their check, I heard the dad say, "If you embarrass me again like last time, you know what happens when we get home." The kids nodded quickly, looking terrified. My stomach dropped. I'd heard that tone before from my own stepdad when I was little. I went to the kitchen and told Janet what I was seeing. She came out to refill their water and observed the table for a few minutes. When she came back, her face was pale. She said we needed to call someone, but she wasn't sure who. The dad paid in cash and started gathering the kids to leave. The 10-year-old was limping slightly as they walked toward the door. That's when I noticed she had a bruise on her arm that hadn't been there when they sat down. Actually, it had been there. I just hadn't seen it under her long sleeves until she reached for something. Janet made the call while I watched them through the window. The dad was gripping both kids' shoulders really tight as they walked to his car. The kids moved like robots. No talking, no normal kid behavior, just following orders. The police arrived 15 minutes later. They caught up with the car 2 blocks away. Turns out the dad wasn't even their real father. He'd taken them from their mom's house during what was supposed to be a supervised visit. The kids hadn't eaten a real meal in 2 days. The mom showed up at the restaurant later that night, crying and thanking us over and over. She said the kids had been trained to act perfect in public so no one would ask questions. The dad had threatened them with worse punishments if anyone found